whenever she has to, or on the week when she wins, yes, that's the word, on the week when she wins, I hear the pride that, oh my God, I won this week, like, yeah, I did it again this week, and it's very heartwarming for me to hear when children are super excited and to see how, they improve in, tasks such as this, right? So this particular girl, should I go through the expo route? So no, I wouldn't go there. But initially, when she started, as always, the energy was there. But one thing I noticed is ever since she started, for every time we had spelling, she has been consistent. I mean, she missed her spellings. Like, I can literally count the number of days that she missed spelling, but beyond that, she's a very articulate speller. She's very strong-willed. She's a very, very interesting person. All the way from Ajibola. I mean, this particular girl has won my heart so much, and she's a fireball of energy, ladies and gentlemen, with 30 points all through 26 weeks of Kitty's Brain Jesus with Auntie Jade on Mainland 90.3 FM. Our winner on the spelling bee leaderboard, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Olivia Obone.
I was built to be the best, number one and nothing less. Lead me to my destiny. I have waited patiently. I have vision, though I believe. I know I can count on me. So stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up, stand up, stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up, stand up.
Well done, Olivia Bonnet, our champion. So right now she's our two-time champion on the mathematics leaderboard and also on the spelling bee leaderboard as well. So well done, Olivia Bonnet. I am proud of it, and I believe that mommy and daddy are proud of you as well. So make sure that you come in with that energy for year 2023, even though I know that by this year you'll turn 12, but don't worry. To your next birthday, we're going to have so much fun on the show, and this is also to encourage every child out there, every parent out there as well. You have superstars in your homes, please let them come on the show. Let us hear their voices, let us discover them, and let us as well celebrate them too. So I would like to implore Kamileri's dad, that's Mr. Ibrahim, please send in his full name and pictures to the WhatsApp number 0913 6000410. Would love to celebrate, Pamela and Olivia Bonnet on our social media platform. I believe that Olivia Bonnet's mom has sent in details, which I would confirm. Right, but thank you so much to our daddies and our mommies for trusting us and allowing us to bring out the best in the kids. So please do well again to join me again tomorrow. So tomorrow we're going to celebrate our current affairs, general paper champions. General paper, that's the word. Yes, we're going to celebrate our general paper champions, and we're going to also celebrate our overall top 5 champions from the past 26 weeks. Yes, and then after that, by next week, we'll go back to mathematics, spelling, and general paper. It's been an amazing time on this show. I am still Auntie Jade. Please don't touch that down. Remain tuned in to Mainland 98.3 from the Sound of Lagos. We'll go on a quick break, and after that will be trends in the papers. Stay tuned. Enjoy.
Stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up.
Hey you, what are you listening to?
Sound of Lagos, 98.3 Mainland FM.
Baby, make me flash it up. If Jack the president, if I ever leave, cause so you last up. Ask my baby to dance on. And I don't believe you got me your door. Got me knocking in front of your door. If I ever leave, cause so you last up. Ask my baby to dance on. And I don't believe you got better is a danger. So if you looking for me, I be gone to a place where I be is a danger. Your body all on my dancer, make her study your body like a professor. Kill answer, wanna know how I feel. No babosha. Kill answer.
It's a beautiful morning, Naija. Don't forget to deposit your old Naira notes into your Momo wallet at the nearest Momo agent outlet before January 31st, 2023. First dial *671# to open the Momo wallet, then call our toll-free number 671 to locate the Momo agent near you.
Life is simple when you dial *671#. Broke close in time, no sign this and that. Just run now with *671#. For airtime and data, you no get wahala. *671#. *671. You send and receive money, or deposit and withdraw cash. To pay for lights up and cable TV below. If I have to save it simple, it better pass the cash.
Just dial *671# to open a Momo wallet today or download Momo app from Google or Apple Play Store. Life is simpler with Momo. Better than cash. Deposit your old Naira notes into your Momo wallet at the nearest Momo agent outlet on or before 31st January 2023.
The 2022-2023 Universities and Polytechnic admission is here at the Eco College of Management and Technology, Eco City. Opportunity to gain admission and bag a national diploma degree is now available in the following courses: Mass Communication and Multimedia Technology, Banking Operations, Computer Engineering, Computer Science, Science Laboratory Technology, Performing and Media Arts. If you wrote the last JAMB and still seek admission, the opportunity is available at Eco College of Management and Technology to put the best in both theoretical and practical knowledge. Eco College of Management and Technology, Eco City, is approved and accredited by both the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board JAMB and National Board for Technical Education NBTE. At Eco City, our lecturers bring to the class both industry and academic experience. Facilities in the school include well-equipped laboratories, modern multimedia studio, hostel, sports complex, ultra-modern library, CBT hall, beautiful classrooms and office spaces. Eco College of Management and Technology is located at Plot 100 Alhaji Onilewura Street, College Bus Stop, Ikotu Egbe, Lagos State. For inquiries, call 0812-658-0784, 0916-254-0610, or visit our website at www.ecocity.edu.ng. Eco College of Management and Technology, building industry-ready professionals.
We all have that one friend that always hides everything from everyone else. Like my guy Sean, that got 1 gig free data when he downloaded my MTN NG app. Did he share the gist with us?
No!
But we found out, and even something he doesn't know, that we get up to 2 gig data if we recharge 500 naira or more on my MTN NG app with our debit card.
You don't mean it!
That's not all. We also get 10% extra on every airtime recharge made on my MTN NG app.
Wow!
Will we share the gist with him?
Yes!
That's correct. You get 1 gig free data when you download my MTN NG app. Up to 2 gig when you recharge 500 naira and above with your debit card on my MTN NG app, and 10% extra on every recharge made on the app. So what are you waiting for? Download my MTN NG app today to enjoy. Terms and conditions apply. Guys, here he comes.
Guy, any gist today?
What are we doing today?
Hello Lagos, I am SP Benjamin Hunde, Police Public Relations Officer, Lagos State Command. You are listening to Mainland 98.3 FM. If you see something, say something.
mind, free my mind, ayo. Free my mind, ayo. Free my mind, ayo. Free my mind, yo, free my mind, ayo. I get to get for America. She know they ever let me down. I got another one for a nigga. She know they ever give me. I got another one for Unilab. That one be years like a hitting now. I got another one for Unipop. See me see trap walking labor. Now we don't bust up. Free my mind, ayo. Free my mind, ayo. Free my mind, ayo. Free my mind, love, free my mind, ayo. My melody is sweetie past too. My energy, I fire passport. Oh, sorry, don't go giving me. I go Suleiman, baby, boss, don't Suleiman. Cause you don't bust. Free my mind, ayo. Free my mind, ayo. Free my mind, ayo. Free my mind, love, free my mind, ayo. All the people no fine, then they do like cloud. People when no get talent, then they do sharp mouth. They so free my mind, oh, I don't know. I free my mind, I free my mind, I free my mind, I free my mind, ayo. Free my mind, love, free my mind, ayo.
Love where they buy no be love. If I gotta buy your love, me no want to. Yeah. No matter what you do, no do pass yourself. Oh. I want you know there for suffer head. Oh. No be everything be black or white, and no be everything must turn to fight. Should be not everybody won't go heaven, but no, nobody want to buy. Oh, where you balance my own life, you know balance. I hope so you balance your own. When you check your balance, the money won't want me, they don't get it balance. Me I just balance, yeah. Hope so I balance, yeah. When I check my balance,
story of my life, want to do anything I do, then go take bullshit. Minding my business, jaja, away. Or I'm in answer, one emoji change. For me, finish, moja, Jesus. Your standard, I don't live for you, no way. As you can see, life is good, I don't testimony. God is good, now my testimony. Everything turn around on a 360, oh.
Where you balance, life, you know balance, I hope so you balance, when you check your balance, the money won't want me, they don't get it balance, they are just balance, yeah. They see a balance, yeah. When I check my balance, the banker. Everybody get their own for their own body. Good man suffer, but bad man get plenty money. All who have a shake is serious. Crazy passy ability. So if you see chance, better just balance your mind. Life you know balance, I hope so you balance your. When you check your balance, the money won't want me, they don't get it balance.
98.3 Mainland FM.
Mainland 98.3 FM. The sound of Lagos.
Good morning and welcome to the first working day in the year 2023. I hope that, or I trust that we're all pumped up and ready for the year's work. I'm not going to say the day's work because, this is going to say a whole lot about how you plan to live the rest of your hustle life in year 2023. Very important. All right, so I trust that we had an amazing night rest and we're off to an even better morning. Good morning and welcome to Trends in the Papers on 98.3 Mainland FM. My name is Mobola Sandra, and we're going to be going through the front pages of our dailies, the major trending stories across all the papers. Well, the four major papers. We have The Nation, The Punch, The Guardian, and of course Vanguard newspaper. Fuad Sahid will also be joining in via the phone line in a few minutes. However, this letter, the Obasanjo letter, seems to still be the major trending story across all board, both online, offline, on social media, everywhere. The story is still there. Everyone is still talking about it. It seems to be creating a huge buzz. That is just one. We're all still anticipating the announcement or the declaration of the endorsement of the G5. There's a whole lot going on. It's election season. There's a whole lot that's happening at this point now. There seems to be a lot of relegation, a lot of candidates just to the background with this, letter that has come up to play in this election season. But as we also have other major trending stories, we're also going to be looking at the fact that the Lagos State Commissioner of Police has ordered the redeployment of all police officers in the Ajah division. We talked about that yesterday at what's happening at the Ajibola police station. So there's been a confirmation of a transfer of men from the Ajah division. There's a whole lot we're going to be talking about this morning, and it's going to be an interesting one. We're going to talk trends in the papers from now up till 8:30, and then of course by 8:40 we move on to Milan Focus, where we pick one or two of the trending stories, put some spotlight on it, open up the phone line for you to join in on the conversation. All right, and very important also to note is, have you collected your PVC? Today is another day for you to go out to any of the INEC local government offices across the federation and go and collect your PVC. You have between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. All right, so go out there, and it's all the way through till Sunday. There's no weekend, they're not going to rest. There's no weekend for the collection of PVC, so it's all through the week. You can go there between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. and go and collect your PVC by January 6th. All right, today is 3rd of January, so by January 6th it's going to be devolved to the wards. All right, so then you can go to your ward and pick your PVC up, but then right now it's still at the local government offices, INEC offices. So very important also that you go out and pick up your PVC. This year Nigeria decides. All right, so let's get on with it. First and foremost, good morning, Sahid Fuad.
Yeah, good morning, Sandra. How are you?
I'm well, thank you very much. Thank you for standing by.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so let's get on with it. I have the papers here. I'll start with the Nation newspaper, and the major headline there: letter, Obasanjo is jealous and frustrated, says the presidency. And there's the writers to that, and the writer says, Wike, ex-president's endorsement of Obi, staying on article. Backing for Labour Party presidential candidate inconsequential. So the presidency has also responded to the letter. We had that conversation, and I was trying to bring forth the fact that the letter is not just an endorsement of the Labour Party presidential candidate. There was also some sort of performance review of the current administration. Yes, so the presidency has also responded or reacted, let me put it that way, to that particular letter, calling the former president frustrated, saying he's frustrated, and and they have also said that his attack, I don't know, they see it as an attack, that his attack on the president, shows, or there have been constant attacks, from the former president on the Buhari administration, and that's just an act of jealousy. Also, the Rivers State Governor, Nyesom Wike, leader of the G5 of the PDP, also described Obi's endorsement by former President Obasanjo as a stain on PDP's Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. There has been other, statements. Also, we also have a member of the APC in Ondo State, Dr. Shegun Abraham, saying Obasanjo's support for Obi is inconsequential. All right, there's a whole lot, looking at it. We also have APC. A member of the APC Presidential Campaign Council, Dele Alake, saying Obasanjo, for what he described as false claim of mentorship. All right, there's a whole lot of reactions. People are still reacting. If you go through all of the papers, there's still a reaction, and some people are calling the letter an anti-Buhari letter. Okay, so looking past or looking away from the endorsement or not of Labour Party presidential candidate, if you look at it, critically, looking at the letter critically, side by side to what is the reality on ground. I mean, what is that, an attack, or is just saying what it is?
Oh no, it's not an attack. But I understand why the presidency will say it's an attack. The reality is that we can all agree that whatever former President Olusegun Obasanjo is saying in that letter is not anything new. It is not what we don't know. I think before now we have always analyzed it. Look at the economy, look at the issue of insecurity, look at the issue of the power sector, look at the rot in the oil sector. If for nothing, a lot of us have thought that at least the president, with his antecedent as a former military head of state, as a former minister of petroleum, and as even the current minister of petroleum, which he made himself in 2015, that at least if he's not able to do anything, in the minimum he would have been able to at least help us clean up the rot in the oil sector, which he has not been able to do. In fact, it's getting worse. It's far, far worse than the way he even met it, the current situation that we found ourselves. So we can all agree that yes, whatever the former president is saying is not anything new, and it's not an attack. He's just stating the obvious. This current administration has performed below par, is disappointed a lot of people who believed so much in them when they came with the change mantra in 2014. So it is a fact that this administration has failed a lot of Nigerians, and that I would have expected that instead of them seeing it as an attack, they should have seen it as a point of reflection. And I think at some point, the presidency and in fact the president should apologize to Nigerians for letting them down, for not being able to meet their expectations. So on that basis, Sandra, I agree with you from Obasanjo that this administration has failed, but that would mean me taking the message and leaving the messenger. That's the only reason why I decided to go this route this morning. That look, I'd rather just go with the message and the messenger. But if indeed I want to also look at the messenger, Sandra, it's just as good as the pot calling the kettle black.
Yes, but if we always say here, I mean, we have always had the conversation as regards this blame game and whatnot. Okay, fine, it's generated from a particular administration, but supposedly this administration has had almost 8 years, to at least attempt to correct whatever anomaly or whatever ill that may have been planted some years ago. So the
fact that they even came with the change mantra that they're going to change things, clean up all the mess, I agree with you. Yeah,
that's where I'm coming from. So I mean, fine, nobody is saying, I mean, if you look at the reports of the Nation newspaper, of course they went really hard, digging deep into Obasanjo's administration, the ills and the fails and the downs and the everything, that breaking everything down, especially the ill-fated third term agenda. All right, there's a whole lot of that. But then,
and even the $16 billion on the power sector, last minute sector, which was $15 billion.
Exactly, which a lot of people say birthed corruption in one way or the other. But if you look deeper into it, also, if we are going to be as objective as possible, an administration has been in power for the past 8 years. Are we saying that no matter what any administration comes into play in Nigeria, nothing can be resolved? If we keep going back and saying, oh, this person is responsible for this one is responsible for this, if we keep doing that, is there going to be any way forward?
No, I agree with you that and that's why I first said, look, whatever the former president is saying is just stating the obvious. We've all agreed that, look, this administration has performed below expectation, disappointed a lot of Nigerians, and we can just put it as a complete failure to put it in proper perspective. And that's why I said, look, at some point, instead of them just seeing it as an attack from the former president, I think they should see it as a kind of reflection and even apologize to Nigerians for failing them. They really need to apologize to Nigerians for failing them, because I must say that if you do a list of all the promises they made in 2014, I am sure that out of the 100, they are not able to even meet up 10 from all the promises they made to Nigerians. And those are even promises that one would have thought would have been what you call quick wins, something that they can quickly do, fix, and then Nigeria move on with it. So I agree with you that it's not about blame game. Nobody is looking back. You see, but the reason why people look back when Chief Olusegun Obasanjo writes letter is that he has this egoistic tendency. He writes his letter as if, look, he was a messiah when he ruled. There's a difference between pointing out the mistake of others while also admitting that you are part of the problem, but you expected them to do better. But Obasanjo presents himself as somebody who never has any hand in the problem that we have now. And that's the problem for me. He should also look at himself and say, hey, I'm a bigger part of the problem. In fact, I laid the foundation for this problem. That's what I told you yesterday, that in 1999, he had every opportunity to create institutions that would put us on autopilot. He did not do that. He was creating a political empire for himself. And he has soon realized that it can never happen in Nigeria. And that's why sometimes people think he's just frustrated. So I agree that we are not looking at the past, we are not blaming anybody. But then Obasanjo should not always come up as a messiah or as somebody who does not have a hand in the problem we have today. It's a part of the problem. In fact, a bigger part of the problem.
Well, more details on page 4 of the Nation newspaper as regards, whether or not Obasanjo is being jealous or is frustrated. I'm just going to leave that, for anyone who's going to relate with that one. That's on page 4 of the Nation newspaper. Moving on now, we also have here on the front page of the Nation, 1/3 of the world may slip into recession this year. IMF has warned. So the International Monetary Fund has given the warning over the weekend that a third of the global economy will be facing recession this year. Half of the European Union will be in recession this year. I think they also noted the United States also and China all crawling economically simultaneously. All right, and that's on page 5 of the Nation newspaper. All right, how that is going to be, how that is going to affect the global economy, or how that is also, going to have some sort of global impact on other countries. Of course, I mean, the Russia-Ukraine war is just an example of what can be a spiral effect from another country to another country to another country, and then it becomes a global thing. All right, so moving on from that one, we also have on the front page of the Nation, Tinubu insists petrol subsidy must go. So he has restated for his readiness to end fuel subsidy if elected president next month. And he has gone on to describe the subsidy regime as anti-poor. And he said the Kaduna-based station that subsidy payments by successive governments were nothing but a waste of resources that ought to have been used to meet the needs of the people. Again, I don't think this is new to our hearing, but the most important part that I think we all can't wait to hear is how okay, if you're going to end subsidy, then how do you plan on making things easier for the consumers of petrol in Nigeria?
Yes, well, Sandra, that's one of the problem with the way Ajibola has been going about his campaign. The fact that his media team, his aides, and his presidential team have not been giving him up for what you can call proper scrutiny. He has been appearing at forums, business luncheons, conferences, all organized by his inner circle. We've not really seen him appear in what you can call an independent panel. Arranged where you can say yes, they can ask him what you can call a no-holds-barred question. And so, for example, this issue of him saying subsidy must go. Look, like we've said, Sandra, you just mentioned it. We all agree that subsidy must go. We've got to a point where we've demonized subsidy, we've made it a conduit of corruption and all of that, and we agree to that. But the question that and I think it's deliberate, and I think it is deliberate that Ajibola is not talking about that part of how the subsidy thing would go. What is the timeline? Is he, in true conscience, ready to see Nigerians buy a liter of fuel at almost 500 naira per liter if subsidy goes at this time and we don't fix our refineries? I would like him to answer that question. Also understanding that with immediate constituency in Lagos, you have the Ajibola problem that has made public transportation go gaga because of the monies and illegal levies they collect from bus drivers. So you should ask us how he expects Nigerians to survive the new subsidy regime when we don't fix our refineries and refine fuel locally. It's a very simple question. I guess because the idea of subsidy must go is an attempt of the elitist class thinking that look, the poor masses should continue to suffer and that whatever is thrown at them, they would always cope. They will not care. The rich and the elitist class will not bother with subsidy removals without us fixing our refineries. And I'm surprised that they are not even talking about fixing the refineries. Because the only thing they say is subsidy. As if subsidy is a problem. All over the world, people subsidize all manner of things. But like I said, we demonize it in Nigeria, and it is easy for everybody to just say subsidy must go. But the question is, how would it be done? And how would you help other Nigerians? And what is the issue with our refineries? Why are they not talking about it? Is there something about the elitist class that we don't know? Is there a conspiracy against the poor Nigerians that we don't know? So it is important that he puts himself for proper scrutiny so that we can ask him those questions. Yes, he wants to remove subsidy. What is the timeline? What are we going to be doing about our refineries? And if you say, look, the refineries cannot be fixed and you remove subsidy, are you ready as a president to see Nigeria buy a liter of fuel at 500 naira per liter? Those are simple questions I would like to ask you. Not just the subsidy must go.
All right. He's talking really tough here. If you look at it, he's saying no matter how long you protest, no matter how some of us may say no, we need to invest the money wisely in for instance, health. So we will remove subsidy. We can do it. We're educated enough, and we need to use the money. We need to diversify that money into something else. And he's insisting on it that if Ajibola Tinubu wins the election February 25, he is going to, without doubt. That's what he's saying. He's going to walk the talk, remove subsidy. There's no plan whatsoever, that he has put in place or that he has mentioned, that is going to make things easier for the populace, as we have to buy petrol at an unsubsidized rate.
This sorry to use the word bubuya of them, that whatever we say from subsidy they'll put in the health sector. It's just I'm sorry to use the word, it's just nonsensical. It doesn't make any sense.
It's okay.
We know the antecedents of our public officials and people in government. It's just a way of saving the money to find a way to steal it and re-steal it again.
That's
why my son has said, that's why Shimole is saying that look, subsidy must not go. Because somehow, although the elitist class has made it a point of corruption, but it's still the only thing that the masses are enjoying directly for now. And we are not saying that subsidy does not go. But how would Nigerians cope with a subsidy regime that is not with a no subsidy regime,
non-existent,
and we don't fix our refinery.
Fuad, I don't know. I just like to talk in bits, because if you look at it right now, we are currently paying subsidy, yet some people are buying fuel for as much as 450 naira per liter. So at this point now, I'm not going to say so much about subsidy. Let's just see what's going to happen, and see if we're going to grow from there or not. That's more details of that report on page 4 of the Nation newspaper. And still on the front page of the Nation, we also have here Igbo threatens protest in Ibadan over Amotekun's role on missing man. All right, just to give some sort of just to give some sort of backdrop on that particular story. What we have here is that the embattled Yoruba Nation agitators, Chief Sunday Adeyemo, also known as Sunday Igboho, has issued a 24-hour ultimatum to Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde to order Amotekun to produce a young man who disappeared since last week in Ibadan or face a large-scale protest. And he issued this ultimatum on his Instagram handle yesterday. So what we have in the report is that a young man disappeared on the 30th of December last year after Amotekun personnel allegedly went to a house in Apata in response to a distress call. So 4 men who were inside the house at the time that the Amotekun guys came were said to have fled on sighting them. So the family is alleging that the Amotekun personnel shot at the fleeing men as they pursued them, and they further alleged that after the dust settled, only 3 returned. After that, the young man, that's the Mobola guy who is missing, has not been seen since then. Okay, so that is the story, and that is where Sunday Igboho is coming from, saying that something should be done because, well, if looking at that, probably he's saying that Amotekun should produce the young man who disappeared during that particular raid. So that's about that. Sunday Igboho and Amotekun and Seyi Makinde forward. Oh, I think I lost that call. All right, yes. So that's what the story is about. Just so you know, have a backdrop of that particular story, how Amotekun is supposed to be responsible for this, or how this is going to be resolved, or how the Oyo State government is going to wade into this and look into it and see how it can be resolved. Well, we don't know. Amotekun responded to a distress call. They got there, and when they got there, the people in the at the location ran. I don't know why they are running. But then they ran, and in the course of them running, Amotekun shot at them, and then 3 guys were able to come back, but then one of them is missing till now, which informs Sunday Igboho's threat on Instagram to the Oyo State government, saying that it's become worrisome that Amotekun has not said anything over the incident while the family of the victim is currently agonizing. That's the story, and more details on page 6 of the Nation newspaper. All right, Fuad. Maybe I would have to call you back. I cannot hear you.
Oh, okay.
Yes, the network is really poor. I apologize. All right, thank you. We will carry on. This is Trends in the Papers on 98.3 Mainland FM. More details of that on page 6 of the Nation newspaper. Moving on, we also have taxpayers to generate TCC, says FIRS, and that is on page 7 of the Nation newspaper. Very quickly, what it says is that taxpayers can now generate their tax clearance certificate with a single click via the Tax Pro Max platform of the FIRS. So the process of generating the tax clearance certificate from individual computers started on the 1st of January 2023, and the reason for this innovation is to build a customer-centric institution. All right, that the taxpayer, before, you could only generate your certificate on the tax form when it did not owe any liability, among other conditions set out for the platform. So that's on page 7 for more details. All right, and moving on now, still on the front page of the Nation, we also have IPOB will not call for election boycott. We will not call for election boycott, and that is on page 4. That's coming from IPOB. That's the indigenous people of Biafra. Oh, that's not on page 4. Let's see what we have here. Okay, well, the story is not on page 4, it's on page 5. Okay, all right, and what we have is that IPOB has reassured Nigerians that its leadership has no intention to call for the boycott of this year's general election. However, they're explaining that their position does not detract from its agitation for total freedom of Ndigbo through a referendum. Okay, so that's IPOB giving some sort of reassurance that there's not going to be any boycott of the elections in the southeast. Yes, thank you, Fuhad.
Oh, well, I think that's a good one. It would have been a different case if the position was, hey, don't be a part of the elections and then encourage violence and all of that. We still would say it is within the rights of any group to call for self-determination. It is, of course, in any state you can always call to question whether you want to be a part of a union. It is part of the rights of human beings or a group of persons to always do that. But the manner by which you do it is always the issue. If you pick up arms against your country, for example, the country has a right to also respond in the same manner. And so if it's about referendum, it's about some of these push, it's about lobby, diplomatic pressure, legislative pressure, executive pressure. Yes, those are permissible means by which people can ask for self-determination or call to question their membership of a particular union. For example, I think in Spain, for example, there's a part of Spain that is still calling to leave the country. But they've been doing it in the most civil way, not any form of violence or anything. I think where Barcelona is, and the Catalans here, the Catalans have always said that they don't want to be a part of the Spanish Union. And they've been doing it in the most peaceful manner. They have their own insignia and all of those kind of things. But the fact is that they are still part of the union and the conversation continues. So it's nice to hear IPOD make this kind of statement. Let the elections go on. Continue your lobby, continue your advocacy. Who knows? They may have a routine to be a part of the union, but maybe have some other demands. So, no violence.
They're what they're saying in this particular report, they're maintaining that IPOB doesn't have plans to boycott the elections. They have chosen to remain neutral in the forthcoming election, and that anyone that's obstructing the election process is definitely working with agents and not IPOB, saying that IPOB has nothing to do with Nigeria's election. They are focused on the release of their leader.
Within their rights too.
They are focused on the release of their leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and a Biafra referendum date. That's their focus. Okay. So more details on page 5. So there were some sort of concern, especially with the insecurity in the southeast, as regards the elections. Well, I guess that puts some anxiety to rest. More details on page 5 of the Nation newspaper. Moving on now, we also have here, please confirm transfer of men from Aja division. That's on page 5. So yes, the police commissioner in Lagos State Command has confirmed the redeployment of the policemen attached to the Aja police station in Lekki on the Lekki-Aja Expressway, and this was also confirmed by the PPRO of Lagos State, that's Benjamin Hundeyi, and this is after the shooting of Mrs. Bolanle Rahim on Christmas Day, who was allegedly shot to death by Drambi Vandi, an ASP attached to that particular station. So we had the conversation yesterday as regards there was a video that trended showing policemen drinking while on uniform with their rifles in hand, and also the fact that some 2 weeks before Mrs. Rahim's murder, there was also the killing of a young man, Buraimo, in that same axis. So all of this now culminating with the fact that but is this going to help or resolve anything? Is this going to, I don't know, what are your thoughts as regards to redeployment?
Well, I don't think it's going to solve any problem. In fact, we should even question why they have to already redeploy those policemen. I think they should be, instead of redeploying them, because again, one would expect that they need to be re-examined, the entire police personnel that worked in that Ajah police station. Because it was shocking to note that just a few days after a very sad incident, indicting that police station, men of the same police station did not even deem it fit, to be more cautious and careful about their public conduct.
They went about drinking.
They went about drinking. So because if you deploy them, they will not go and infect other people, even though we are saying that it's a general problem among the police force. So why quickly we deploy them? Why not even call them in and question them? And then maybe retrain them or reorientate them. Because again, one bad egg can spoil the entire thing.
We also mentioned that thing that, okay, fine, it's in the Constitution, it's in the Police Act, all right, that you're not supposed to be drinking while on duty. And these men were drinking while on duty. So is it that there's no sanction for
punitive measure, no
punitive measure? Exactly. So is it just okay? So we redeploy them. Let's move on. Or that's unfortunate.
And they go to another police station and start drinking.
Okay.
No, so the man was drinking on duty here.
Maybe they don't sell drinks where they are redeploying them to.
So they just change the location. I mean, if they drink for Ajah, okay, we'll take you to Abule, but they sell drink for Abule.
They don't sell drinks in Abule.
Yeah, they play. But honestly, the entire police needs reform standard.
The entire police force is not just the Ajah police division. That's
I think the same policeman I told you about in my area, I still saw him this morning with his bedroom slippers. He wasn't even well dressed. He was looking very rough and tacky, and he had his rifle with him. And the way I was looking at his face, he didn't look care. He didn't know to care.
Early in the morning.
I'm telling this, I still saw him this morning in my area. I told that I don't want to make it a public thing. His
eye is already dirty as early as 7 a.m.
The eye where they see no to pay. They know to pay.
Are you safe? What?
When somebody is on bedroom slippers, what are you saying? It's on bedroom slippers.
Was he carrying a rifle?
Properly dressed. His rifle was the thing. He's always the thing.
Okay. Please be safe. Stay safe.
No. I did greet and well. Every time I pass. Okay.
And then one day you will hear your voice on radio reporting him.
Well, he doesn't know. He's all right.
All right, moving on now, still on the front page of The Nation. Nigeria raises concern over rising COVID-19 cases in China. Okay, so we also had this conversation yesterday, and saying that when is Nigeria going to make certain decisions as regards the upsurge in of COVID cases in China. So now the NCDC, that's the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention, has said despite the surge in cases in China and other countries, it does not expect any rise in cases or severe illnesses across the country, that's our own country, at the moment. So they're saying that, okay, we are not being dismissive of the possibility, okay, but we are waiting to update of subsequent results later this week on data from December to enable it to check and find evidence that would inform their decisions and actions that will now be put in place to protect citizens. So they are waiting for maybe some cases to come up. I don't know, is that what we're waiting for us to have cases in Nigeria before we then start putting measures in place, or they are waiting to see if it's going to be a huge problem because I'm trying to have an understanding of this particular situation. Other countries of the world have put things. Yes, they put things in place. It's just people traveling in from China. Let's just see your test. I don't know how difficult that is supposed to be.
Simple as APC. Let's put some measures in place for anybody coming from that part of the world. The way you pass through that part of the world, just ensure that you get in here. There's a measure in place to check them. But I tell you, if you are so confused about what to do, just look at what the US and other countries are doing and replicate it here. Basically, what we are asking them to do is to be proactive, not reactive. That's what we are saying.
Very
proactive, not reactive. Very simple as ABC, nothing more.
Well, and that's.
We have to wait till something happens before we now react.
More details on page 25 of The Nation newspaper. And finally, from The Nation now, we have here 4 killed in gunmen attack on Ohakim's convoy. So former governor of Imo State, Ikedi Ohakim, yesterday escaped death after assailants bombed his convoy, and 4 of his police orderlies were killed in the attack. And it was learned that the gunmen burnt one of the convoy vehicles when they were unable to capture the ex-governor. So apparently he was the main target, but his driver was smart enough to beat them because they were trying to block him. All right, and this happened somewhere in the Ehime Mbano local government area of Imo State, and that you can get more details on page 2 of the Nation newspaper. All right, this is still trends in the papers on 98.3 Mainland FM, and we're still looking through the major trending stories on the front pages of our dailies. So let's quickly run through what else we have here. Let's look at the Guardian newspaper. And the major headline from the Guardian newspaper this morning is New Year, New Stakes. Okay. New Year, New Stakes. New Year, high stakes for subsidy, inflation, insecurity. So the riders to that. Deficit financing to hit 12 trillion naira amid unending borrowing. Fuel scarcity may worsen over future of subsidy and ban on Russian crude. So with the rising debt profile and fiscal deficits, Nigerians will this February decide the future of subsidy at the polls, especially going with the fact that the major presidential candidates are all agreeing on one thing: subsidy removal. So after many years of expensive spending across the years across the years, just as inflation also continues to sink a lot of people into poverty, we're going to know if exactly we're going to be moving forward. We're spending trillions of naira on subsidy, and we're also on a budget deficit of over 12 trillion naira. So we're going to know whether or not what the future of 2023 will be, or what the future of the next 4 years will be by next month. That's what this particular report is saying, especially as the election is in less than 53 days to go.
Well, I think that those are some of the discussions that we should be having at this time. And that is why it is important that we continue to ask these questions. We need to talk more, ask questions from these presidential candidates, not just the frontline presidential candidates, all of the candidates, even some of the people, trying to get into the National Assembly. You want to become a senator. What are your positions on some of these things? You remember, Sandra, some of these issues will still have to come to the legislature for debates, for votes, and all of that. So it's important to ask senatorial candidates, House of Reps candidates, even National State Assembly candidates, to what their positions are on some of these things, because it all comes together at the end of the day.
And just as you have always said, the report is also saying, already leading candidates in the upcoming elections have already declared their intentions to remove fuel subsidy, but then none have explained measures to mitigate inflationary effect the decision might have on Nigerians. None of them have said anything that okay, yes, we will remove subsidy, but these are the things. And that's the problem that people are having with all of these candidates. Hope is not just going to be promises as usual.
Talk.
In 2015, we also had the conversation. Subsidy is a scam. It's not. What is subsidy and all of that? We had that conversation, and we were hopeful that okay, when
something will be done.
And then the fact that the president made himself the Minister of Petroleum, gave us a lot of hope. Okay, something will be done. But then here we are, 7 years after. We're spending.
That's why we're saying ask specific questions. How is missing in all of their promises.
And that's it. Subsidy removal is expected to compound inflation levels.
It's not compound, mess it up completely.
It's going to be extremely difficult. And the presidential candidate of the APC called subsidy anti-poor. But then removing the subsidy
will be what?
But then removing the subsidy, I don't know what that's supposed to do. But that's more details of this on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. Let's keep moving now. We also have here those opposing Obasanjo's endorsement of Obi undemocratic, and that's coming from Huriwa. All right, and the story is on page 4. Very quickly, just background to that one. So Huriwa is saying that human rights Writers Association of Nigeria, blasting those politicians criticizing the public endorsement of Peter Obi by former President Olusegun Obasanjo. The group is saying the antagonists were showing early sign that if elected, they will be intolerant to dissenting opinions and could progressively become dictators. That is their own thoughts, or that's what they're thinking. And recalling that, yes, because they're looking at it that someone wrote a letter, one person wrote a letter somewhere, and it's causing this huge, raising a lot of dust on the political scene. I can't wait for the G5's endorsement.
You are still waiting.
It will happen.
It will not.
Okay.
You know why I told you that they will not endorse anybody?
You owe me money.
Okay, well, I'm just telling you. You look at even what Wike did yesterday. He told them, hey, you know what, vote PDP in all the other elections, but when it comes to presidential election, Chidi Lloyd, your chairman, will tell you where to vote. Why didn't he tell them himself?
And they've not decided yet.
Okay.
So London was not, the atmosphere in London was not enough.
They've not concluded.
Yes, for them to conclude.
I hear you.
Yes, that's how it is. Because we've not, this is the first time.
You are hopeful. You always believe these people. When they promise, you say, yeah, it will happen. Continue.
All right, still on the front page of the Guardian newspaper, gunmen attack ex-Imo governor Ohakim's convoy. Four policemen feared dead. So apparently it was a direct attack on the former governor himself, but then his driver was able to play a smart one and was able to.
Maybe it was in the blood. This we always talk about these politically exposed people, or people that are exposed to danger naturally because of their positions, wealth, and all of that. The fact that you have men of the Nigerian police protecting them in open vans at their back with guns, and then they are in their bulletproof car, well protected, and all of that. It happened with Pastor Suleiman. This is also a Hakim, and then some policemen have lost their lives. So you should begin to think about some of these civilians too in this.
More details on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. Things should be put in place for
Imo State is in trouble.
For our police officers that
losing
their lives needlessly, just like that. Well, okay, moving on now. We also have on the front page of the Guardian, presidency, Yakasai faults Obasanjo's backing of Obi, and that's on page 30 of the Guardian newspaper. Still on this letter.
I know the letter one.
This letter is an amazing one. So elder statesman Tanko Yakasai has faulted former President Olusegun Obasanjo on his endorsement, saying the endorsement will not impact the outcome of the presidential election. According to him, he's saying that this particular endorsement is clearly insignificant and of no effect, saying that Obi was not among the two major contenders, in this. That's from Yakasai now, saying that Obi is not even one of the two major contenders in this election, so his endorsement by the former president is irrelevant. More details on page 30 of the Guardian newspaper. I like how something that's not so important is really riling up a lot of people.
No. Obasanjo's letter would generate that kind of reaction.
But it's not important.
No, it is. It's Obasanjo now. It's the former president.
Important.
Former head of state, former president.
But it is not important.
It is. Because it's Obasanjo.
Okay. But then they should stop saying it's not relevant. They should just express their dissatisfaction, because I want to imagine that he picked one of the two major political parties. I can't begin to imagine the rest.
The other parties too will be saying the same thing.
So let's move. All right. CBN's short-term loans to banks dropped to 11 trillion naira. That's on page 15. Telcos activate 4.3 million lines. Seek cost-based tariff. Also on page 15.
The telcos are doing well.
They are trying. They are really so hopefully that planned 5% extra tax would be looked into, and Pantami will continue to fight against it.
I suspect they've concluded on it. It will happen. They need money. The government needs money.
Okay.
And they have to just make the people pay.
They will not make the decision before they leave office. Let's move on to the Punch newspaper. Anti-Buhari letter. Presidency lambasts Obasanjo, says ex-president's government corrupt. And there are riders to that. Obasanjo sold $3.2 billion house con, other assets for peanuts, removed governors arbitrarily.
I mentioned some of these things.
It's okay. Ex-president.
You don't want to hear those things, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm looking at it from
the facts.
Putting the fact. I understand that. But let us also not look away from what we are.
No, of course.
Reality on ground now. I agree that yes, during Obasanjo's time, a lot of hula baloo and blah blah blue was all over the place.
Blah blah blue. Then I think that's a new thing. Which one is
hula baloo blah blah blue? I mean confusion.
Which confusion? You are the one confusing yourself.
I'm not confused.
Sandra, if I bring a cup,
I know what happened.
Sandra, if I bring a cup of water to you this morning, what are you going to do? You first look at the water to check if it is clean, and I'm sure we are also going to look at the container, right?
Obasanjo he made terrible decisions. Yes, this current administration also made terrible decisions. Yes,
don't you talk about people? Shouldn't we talk about him too?
Someone should come and save us. That's the crux of our problem in this country. Can we focus on somebody who's going to take us out of both the Obasanjo era, the Jonathan era, the Buhari era? Can we have an era that we can finally say thank you?
I'll wait for somebody who will interview me and ask me about what I feel about Obasanjo's government. You seem not interested. It's fine.
Okpeyemi will ask you.
I'm hoping Okpeyemi will invite me to his show.
He will invite you.
Because I know you are not interested.
I am not interested.
It's okay, let's move on then.
I am not interested because I understand that Obasanjo has a lot of faults. The genesis of, I mean, if the foundation be destroyed, what can the righteous...
Okay, you're now seeing what we are seeing.
I have always seen it.
Okay.
But my point is, we seem to be looking away from the fact that let's look away from his endorsements. You people have said it is irrelevant, it is inconsequential.
I didn't say that.
It's okay.
I'm just saying it's Obasanjo.
It has no political value. We understand. No problem. Whether you speak English or you don't speak English. The point is that yes, that's the foundation of the problem. But these people came on and promised us that they were going to make things better and disappointed. So all of them are birds of the same feather.
We are not on the same page, right?
We have always been on the same page, but I just didn't appreciate how everybody was just like, oh, this man has no right to say anything. He's also a Nigerian.
Sure.
He's also experiencing some
not just an ordinary Nigerian, the Nigerian that sees
so let's move. He was a former military head of state. The current president was also a former military head of state. He was a president. The current president will soon be a former president.
Nigeria inside out, yeah.
So both of them, or all of them, because it's not just two of them. Now we also had the Jonathan era. We can't say much about the Yaradua era because it was short-lived. All right, but then all of them, nobody has been able to do something
or solve our problems.
Let's move. So Obasanjo a hypocrite. Sorry, that's not
the headline, not you.
Is the because it's very important. The riders to that particular story: ex-president deceived Southeast with second Niger bridge. Buhari completed it.
Okay,
it's okay. He started, he didn't finish it.
No, it's not even the foundation was laid during this time.
It's all right. It's all right.
He was putting the facts the way it
I agree with you. Oh my goodness. Why is this so? OBJ a hypocrite, plotting third term interim government through Obi, says APC and PDP.
Well, that's playing to the gallery. It was what third term government.
How? That's on page 2, by the way.
And he has a right to support Obi, really. Obi is a fantastic person.
It's democracy.
So people should learn to live with that.
And he has chosen his choice, as English people will speak. G5 governors adamant, set for Marking Day campaign. That's on page 12.
So he now remembers he needs to campaign in Oyo State. Marking Day.
I think they always knew.
Okay, God help him.
Now they want to intensify the campaigns.
Okay, after John Keating the world, on G5.
Adeleke fumes as Oyetola insists tribunal will sack governor. So they are still on that one in Osun State.
Honestly, I think people should pay attention to the tribunal in Osun State. We can't discuss it too much because it's a court case.
Yes.
But a lot of things are happening. We have our guys who attend the tribunals. I have a number of persons who give me live feeds from the tribunals. And Sandra, I have my fears, but people should pay attention to what is happening in Osun State.
More details on page 13 of the Punch newspaper. We also have here National Assembly budgets 850 million naira for failed constitution amendment, and that's on page 12 of the Punch newspaper. That's amazing.
See the way they yaka our money, just spend it anyhow. I don't know, people like Showore will say please just leave subsidy, and that's the only thing people I enjoy, because all of the monies they will save, this is the way they will squander it.
That's very important.
If you leave subsidy, you save these trillions of naira and then you spend it this way. So what becomes of the ordinary people?
All right, and finally, we also have from this from the front page of the Punch, power generation crashes by 990 megawatts. 990.
What do we have, Gogo?
I'm sorry. Can we just?
What do we do with the power sector?
That's it for this morning on Trends in the Papers. Actually, we don't have so much to discuss. We unfortunately we couldn't see through, or we couldn't go through the front page of Vanguard newspaper, but it's basically the same.
Okay,
majority of it, the front page has an array of pictures of personality of the year awards. Yes, you have governor of the year. We have got women entrepreneur, just people of the year, awards. According to Vanguard. All right, can get the details there. But from the Punch newspaper, that's all we have for this morning. Stay with us. We will be back by 8:40 for Mainland Focus, and then you get to be a part of the conversation. All right, stay with us. This is 98.3 Mainland FM.
It's a beautiful